It's that time again to start dreaming reality. That's right. So, today's question: what is truth? Pretty simple. Easy question. You think? The answer for today is subjective. Make sure I'm streaming here. Yep. Okay, so today, here in California, it is September 24th, Thursday, 2020. Oh yeah, my name is Joseph, if you didn't know. Here, let me just flash that on the screen there for you real quick. Over there on Facebook. So today's possible thoughts in this stream, once again, intelligence, awareness, consciousness, truth and lies, gods and devils, UFOs, state of the world. Smorgasbord of thought. Do you agree? Yeah. Let me go back to this for a moment. Before I flip that old camera on. Truth is fleeting, flickers that come and go throughout the day, every day, and in between, lies prevail. Here's the deal. Each side opposes the other, yet a belief in either relies on the other. Can't have one without the other. Good and bad, love and hate, life and death, or even simply up and down. All are an attribute of duality. This world is one of duality. Happy and sad, laughing and crying, black and white, truth and lies. Simply put, this is the way it is. There is no other way for there to be. Not here. This world, humanity, as it is, governed by beliefs, feelings, which are just as sound as prescribed laws of physics, and serve to define and describe what can and cannot be. everything is based upon duality. What say you? It's all subjective. It's all a mental point of view. So hi. Thanks for coming by. Dreaming reality with God. That's what I'm doing here. What I'm experiencing here. And music plays a big part of the experience. So, where am I going to go with that opener? Well, I think it falls right in line with everything I think that in some way I'm trying to express. You can't have one without the other. Here, in this world that we are all participating in. That's just a fact. It's the way it is. Okay? That does not, though, rule out. I'm a little worried the music is too loud. That does not rule out other possibilities. If my mind knows that to have positive, there must be a negative. My mind knows that. It's the way it is. But if I allow my mind knowing that, stepping outside of the box, so to speak, and allowing for another variation on the way it works. A state, a world, if you want to see it, but a state of mind where you understand that to have positive you must have a negative, to have happy you must have sad, to have good you must have bad. They are intrinsically intertwined, interwoven together forever. I mean, the scales may go up and down, positive, negative, but they never ever go away entirely. They need each other to exist. They do. And if you can accept that and embrace that and begin to work with that as a foundation to mold into something more outside that box, a state of mind where the two become one? Why not? Why does it have to be any more complicated? It's already complicated just to get to that place. It's convenient to have this war, especially when you've grown up with that. That's the way it is. There hasn't been a whole lot of thinking outside the box, thinking beyond truth and lies. What would that be like to exist? It's not that truth and lies don't exist. Clearly they exist. I mean, they're running free all around the world. But imagine taking that knowledge and taking another step, evolving, ascending, whatever, however it happens for you, to the next phase, the next place, the next destination. Never been there before, but it sounds interesting. Can't have one without the other. If that's what you choose, so shall it be. God, at the core, that idea is everything. Everything. Everything means everything. Simply put, means everything. That's what everything is. Well, what does everything consist of? It's everything good and bad. Good and bad. Both those attributes. God is everything. God's a very important piece of what's unfolding. Clearly, I mean, God didn't just appear, so to speak, on the scene. People from the beginning have carried and cherished something very deep and intimate. Only they know. There are no words. Music helps. I think music helps. Get the words out. I'm starting to stray though. Get a little teary-eyed. We're in an intense moment right now. Everything. God is everything. Everything good and bad, up and down, love and hate. Gods and devils. One God. Now, I continually speak on this God as being intelligent. Clearly, I would hope that that resonates with many, if not all, and that this intelligence is here. It's here right now. It's always here, always. It never left, contrary to what many have been led to believe. Many are waiting for a return something that signifies a return. God has never left this intelligence. Okay? And this intelligence is all intelligence for our purposes. From our perspective, it to us, its knowledge is infinite worlds. They've seen this scenario play out time and time again with variations. There's nothing new under the sun. This intelligence is here. I think it's easier to get to know. It's more universal, I think. It doesn't have, because people get offended over the idea of God, something greater than thou. How dare there be something greater than thou? So intelligence doesn't open all the doors, but I think it opens up a few more to approach it in that way. This, what's happening, this awakening, awareness, blossoming. So this intelligence has always been here. It's never left. It knows everything. It knows all, just as it's been told from the beginning. Because it does. That's not impossible to comprehend in this day and age with all the data gathering that is taking place at this moment. Humans, AI systems, robots gathering data. What's the difference between an intelligence gathering data? Depends on how the data is used. I think that's the bigger question. What is the data being gathered for? I think in terms of humanity versus an intelligence outside our own, it's not the way I think that many would imagine would be. That it's not the way they would think. So why would another think that way? This intelligence knows all, everything. God. And it's watching you every opportunity it gets. I mean, with the technology nowadays, the cameras, everything's just keeping track of some form of data about you. Then you got your mind, your thoughts that, wow, you can't sit down in a chair and hook up probes and record your thoughts. That doesn't mean that they're not there to be recorded if you had the means. This intelligence knows all. And I know that that's a frightening one to accept. There's the never gonna accept that weighs heavy in the minds of many. Privacy, the whole idea of privacy. While I respect privacy and I understand privacy, but you have to understand that I'm talking about an intelligence that again does not exist in a realm where things are up or down, happy or sad, on and on and on. There's no duality. That doesn't mean, again, that there's no understanding of all those things. It comes down to a choice. Always is a choice. It's no different there than here. So it's a choice. This intelligence loves more than anything. Think of it as a favorite. We all have favorites, things, whatever, something that is a favorite. This intelligence, love. Why not? Not the kind of love, though, that people think about when they think of love here in this world, because the love that flows through the minds of many in this world is built upon love and hate. All the duality of this world. None of it exists in this realm of one. It's trying to talk to us. This intelligence. It is God. It's trying to communicate. Always has. Because it's always been here, and always is here, and always will be here. Here is everywhere. How many people spend a moment in their day having a conversation with God, with something greater than thou, with all their heart, knowing this intelligence is here, right now, in that moment, not waiting, no more waiting. It's a choice, you know. All the riots and the protests, and I think the one thing that that has confused me in all of this is the response from the other side. It's like I'm not really seeing a response from the other side. The people that are awake, because clearly the ones that are in the streets currently they're asleep, they're propagating lies. So I'm wondering why there are not mass gatherings of people from the other side. There's just so many things to gather together and peacefully protest. But I don't see that. It's odd, don't you think? This election. You know, back in 2016, I I didn't vote. I've never voted in my entire life. Never registered, none of that. But I am voting in this upcoming election. It'll be my first time. But in 2016, my mind said at that time that Trump should be the one that needs to win. I knew enough from what was out in the public domain about the other candidate and the party, and I felt like, well, and I shared this on Facebook at that time, the election 2016, that there's a future that's coming. It's inevitable. It's unstoppable. What you take out the coronavirus and all of that, there was still a whole lot of manure to be tended to, a lot of problems, everything being swept under the rug, and my mind knew that it was unsustainable. Everything, the way we go about business, was unsustainable. Just is. And I saw Trump as postponing that event, that moment. I saw it as it would give people more time to prepare, to be ready for when it does actually begin to collapse. That's the politest way to put it, least dramatic. I saw Trump as giving us more time. I saw the Democrats back in 2016 and shared my thoughts on it, that it would be quicker. We would get to that collapse quicker. Which again, I didn't want. I wanted people, myself included, to be able to have a chance to get ready. Now here we are in 2020, and it's just utter chaos. It's utter insanity. The lies, all these. It's like it's okay to go out and gather socially and protest, and it's all lies based on lies. There's nothing that's bringing people together as a whole, which that's what needs to be practiced. Those are the kinds of projects. Those are the kinds of matters that we all need to be talking about. It's absolutely amazing. It's just you got Democrats just saying how we got the and I had a YouTube screen of different live feeds from last night playing, and I saw the U-Haul truck on one of the feeds, and I could hear the guy had come up on it and was giving a description of what was going on. It's like that's just unreal. That same guy, I even heard that same guy in that stream. I let it play for like 15 minutes or so, but at some point he's moving through all the protest, and there was a man being arrested, and he's calling out to him, what's his name, and then lets him know, that they're going to get him out. Somebody will contact him, make that happen. It's so in your face, Americans. That's why I say I'm just dumbfounded that people on the other side that are awake and realize something rotten smells. This is not right. Why they are not doing the same thing that these people are doing. They're finding their reasons to go out and protest. Why haven't we found our reason to massively, peacefully protest? And really, I guess what it is people are afraid to, because you've got this other side that they're going to be bringing the weapons to that party. So it makes people apprehensive and nervous to gather together. That's how twisted and insane reality is. And I will say this about Trump at the moment, that I feel like if I were the president, that I daily would spend a moment, a few minutes minimum, conveying a direct message to all this insanity and chaos that's going on, that it needs to stop. Somebody needs to be saying it needs to stop. And not that that's going to make people stop. Maybe not everybody. Might make only some. But somebody needs to be saying that. And I don't really get that impression. It's like everybody's pointing fingers at each other. It really needs to stop. And if not, then those people have a right to gather peaceably together and protest their right to say that it should be not allowed, that it should be that somebody stands up and says no more. I don't think that's a whole lot to ask for. It's reasonable, makes a lot of sense. I'm not seeing it. And I think that the people need to hear that. Right now, people, who do you listen to? It's just chaos everywhere. Very few are stepping forward. Very few are awake, standing up, and speaking up. And there needs to be a lot more. Like I used to have my dream back in the 90s, mid-90s, around that time, it pertained to UFOs. And my dream was to rally the people out into the streets and just sit all at once. And see, this is another key thing too. The numbers, the more the better, all at once. But back then in the 90s, I imagined everybody sitting in the streets or sitting in chairs, just all in the streets. Why? Because they wanted the truth about UFOs, the knowledge that government held, and I believed and felt like such an event would force whoever has this knowledge, it would force their hand, because what else do you do? I mean, we're dealing with that on a much smaller level with all this rioting that's been taking place over the months. I'm talking about a mass sit-in across the nation, just all of the pre-given destined time, and You're just going to shut down everything. Like right now, like the virus, how it shut down everything. But it wasn't a moment that needed to last for days and months. It was just that initial moment to show somebody out there we're tired and we want the truth. See, I understand on some degree all these people out here protesting and rioting because they're angry, they're pissed off, they're mad. One way or another, they feel taken advantage of, not whole. I get that. There's a lot of us out there in that place, I think. Believe me, a lot more than people think. But that doesn't give one a reason to inflict themselves onto another. We're all in this together. We're all trying to figure this out. I should just kind of go to that for a few minutes. I don't know how long I'm going to do this stream. But UFOs, the whole ET, which to me I equate with intelligence. It's ultimately intelligence. And as I've continually said, there's no landings. I just don't see that. I don't see a reason for that. This is an intelligence so beyond our physical realm. And coming here from where they're at isn't going to make us understand them any better than we understand them now. There's nothing they could say that would enlighten another, I guess. Is that a way of putting it? You have to do this on your own. We all do. Sorry. But in the end, it's you and the choices that you make. Everything you need, you have. And it's a matter of what you choose to be, what you choose to allow, and what you will not allow, which both change over one's life, I would imagine. And that should be enough for one to realize that nothing is ever set in stone, really. Everything changes back and forth. As far as ET, as much as people want them coming here, I don't see it. And there's plenty of people that have video footage, and that stuff still takes place. But for the most part, I'm not, as good as it looks, it's not really doing much for me as far as the phenomena goes. Could be anything, really. It could be the government. In the end, there's clearly the government has tried to suppress it for decades. Only until of late has there been a shift in the attitude taken. But for many, many years, decades, that it was, ha 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 ha, you're crazy. We'll even give them a reason. We'll provide some UFOs for them to take a gander at and draw their own conclusions as to what they're seeing. Nowadays you got holograms, and who knows what all kinds of technology is currently being used and withheld from the public at large. I'm not saying that there's not lights in the sky, because there's something is going on, and all of it I don't feel can be governments, people even trying to create hoaxes. I feel like when I am witness to one of these events, it's like somehow it's a projection, uh, in that it's like a window, a screen, a door that's open, and you're looking through into another space. Uh, Again, I ultimately come down to there's no reason really for them to come down. We got to figure this out on our own. We really do. We have to show them, give this intelligence, give God a reason. Which we're not. Look at what we're doing. Killing people, burning things down, destroying people's lives. It's crazy right now. I'm thinking I may come back later on tonight, just before midnight, 11:47, and continue with my thoughts. Well, what do you think's going to happen? The election is clearly it's heating up. It's not going away. The rioting, the protesting. I mean, when you got U-Haul trucks and they're doling out the equipment so they can protest and riot. Wonder who the next Supreme Court justice is going to be. Because we're already being told, Democrats, I think no matter what, they're not going to like whoever's chosen, that they don't believe the president should be choosing, which is absurd. Again, but it makes perfect sense if you take it in the context of everything that's going on in the world that's upside down. Truth and lies. People want the truth. But is that really what people want? The truth. I mean, because you can get the truth, but then you're kind of always left with at some point that something else is going to come along, that whole truth and lie debate will come into play. It's never ever really solved. There is a state of mind where they come together. You rise above. I know that just sounds impossible, and why would you want that? Why would you take good and bad and put them together? Well, I just simply put, it puts an end to a war, because there's no more good or bad. There's something else, though. Keep that in mind. There is no such thing as nothing. Well, Einstein, E equals mc squared. Everything is energy, just changing from one form to another. Does not cease to exist. Keep that in mind. thank you again for coming by. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to come back tonight. If you happen to watch this and get this far, you know that. As always, best thing I think you can do, one can do, is do their best to be well and smile.